The Sunburn diplomat. Maya Chen stepped off the shuttle onto the gleaming docking bay of Starbase Harmony, the jewel of the Galactic Confederation. As Earth's newly appointed diplomat to the Alien Alliance, she straightened her crisp uniform and took a deep breath of the carefully calibrated air. The Starbase's massive viewports revealed a breathtaking vista of swirling nebula and distant stars, a constant reminder of humanity's new place among the cosmos. Ambassador Chen. A melodious voice chimed. Maya turned to see a tall, willowy alien with iridescent skin approaching. I am Lyra, your liaison to the Galactic Council. Welcome to Starbase Harmony. Maya smiled, extending her hand in the human gesture of greeting. Thank you, Lyra. I'm honored to be here. As Lyra's delicate fingers touched Maya's hand, the alien's large, multifaceted eyes widened in alarm. Ambassador, your epidermal layer. It's damaged. We must get you to medical immediately. Maya blinked in confusion, then laughed as realization dawned. Oh, this. She gestured to her reddened skin. It's just a sunburn. I spent a little too much time on the beach during my last shore leave. It's harmless, I assure you. Lyra's translucent antennae quivered with concern. Intentional radiation exposure. For leisure? I don't understand. Before Maya could explain further, a commotion erupted nearby. A group of jellyfish-like beings floated past, their translucent bodies pulsing with alarmed colors as they caught sight of Maya. Radiation leak. One of them burbled through a translator. Quarantine protocols. No, wait. Maya called out, but the jellyfish aliens were already zooming away, leaving a trail of panicked pheromones in their wake. Lyra's antennae drooped. Perhaps we should proceed to your quarters, Ambassador. Quickly. As they hurried through Starbase Harmony's winding corridors, Maya couldn't help but notice the growing ripple of unease spreading among the station's diverse inhabitants. Insectoid beings clicked their mandibles nervously. Crystalline entities refracted light in distressed patterns. Even the station's AI seemed to be routing them along less populated paths. I don't understand, Maya said as they reached her assigned quarters. Surely the Galactic Confederation has encountered species with similar physiological responses before. Lyra's iridescent skin shifted to a muted blue. Ambassador, you must understand. Earth is classified as a, how do you say it? A death world by Confederation standards. The very fact that your species survived to achieve spaceflight is considered miraculous by many. And now to see one of your kind displaying visible signs of radiation damage, yet treating it as inconsequential. Maya sighed, sinking into a chair that helpfully morphed to accommodate her human form. I see. So my little sunburn is causing a diplomatic incident before I've even started my job. A chime at the door interrupted them. Lyra answered, conferring quietly with someone outside. When she turned back to Maya, her expression was grave. Ambassador, I'm afraid the situation has escalated. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session. Your presence is requested. Maya stood, squaring her shoulders. Well then, I suppose it's time for humanity's first lesson in interstellar sunscreen awareness. As they made their way to the council chambers, Maya couldn't help but feel a mix of amusement and trepidation. She had trained for years in xenobiology, interstellar law, and diplomatic protocols. Never had she imagined her first major challenge would come from a case of vacation overindulgence. The council chambers were a marvel of alien architecture, a vast amphitheater designed to accommodate species of all shapes, sizes, and atmospheric requirements. Floating platforms housed aquatic delegates, anti-gravity fields suspended gaseous beings, and at the center, a holographic projection system allowed even the most exotic life forms to participate. As Maya entered, a hush fell over the assembled aliens. Hundreds of eyes, sensory organs, and other perceptual apparatus turned to focus on her reddened skin. She fought the urge to fidget under the scrutiny. A being of pure energy, contained within an ornate crystalline shell, floated to the center of the chamber. This emergency session of the Galactic Council is now in session, it announced, its voice resonating on multiple frequencies. "We are here to address the alarming situation brought to our attention by the arrival of the human ambassador, Maya Chen." Maya stepped forward, her voice steady. "Esteemed members of the council, I assure you there is no cause for alarm. What you're seeing is a minor." "Minor?" A gelatinous blob quivered indignantly. "Your outermost protective layer has been visibly damaged by radiation. How can this be considered minor?" A chorus of concerned murmurs rippled through the chamber. Maya took a deep breath, realizing the magnitude of the misunderstanding she faced. "Respected delegates," she began again, "what you're seeing is a natural biological response called a sunburn. It's a temporary condition caused by overexposure to ultraviolet radiation. While uncomfortable, it is not life-threatening and will heal on its own within days." The crystalline being, apparently the head of the council, pulsed with curiosity. "You mean to say this is a common occurrence for your species?" Maya nodded. "Yes, though usually it's accidental. Some humans even intentionally expose themselves to UV radiation to darken their skin, a practice we call tanning." This statement caused an even greater uproar. A spindly, insectoid alien clicked its mandibles rapidly. "Intentional radiation exposure. For aesthetic purposes. Madness." "Not madness," Maya countered, sensing an opportunity. "Adaptation. Humanity evolved on a world bathed in radiation from our sun. Our bodies learned to use that radiation, to an extent. It helps us produce vital nutrients. It strengthens our bones. Yes, overexposure can be harmful, but we've developed natural defenses and artificial protections." A hulking, rocky being rumbled skeptically. "And yet you stand before us, clearly damaged. How can we trust a species so cavalier about radiation safety to interact with the greater galactic community?" Maya squared her shoulders, meeting the alien's gaze steadily. "With all due respect, it is precisely because of our ability to withstand and adapt to harsh conditions that humanity has so much to offer the Confederation. Where you see recklessness, I see resilience. The very traits that let us shrug off a sunburn could make us invaluable allies in exploring and colonizing worlds other species find inhospitable." A thoughtful murmur rippled through the chamber. Maya pressed on, sensing a shift in the mood. "Members of the council, I came here today expecting to discuss trade agreements and cultural exchanges. Instead, I find myself giving an impromptu lesson in human biology. But perhaps this misunderstanding is fortuitous. It highlights the incredible diversity of life in our galaxy and the need for open minds and clear communication as we forge new alliances." The crystalline council leader's shell pulsed with a spectrum of colors. "You speak wisely, Ambassador Chen. Perhaps we have been hasty in our judgment. I propose we adjourn this emergency session and reconvene tomorrow for a more thorough discussion of humanity's unique attributes and potential contributions to the Confederation." As the council members filed out, still buzzing with speculation and debate, Lyra approached Maya. The alien's skin had shifted to a warm golden hue. "That was unexpectedly impressive, Ambassador. I believe you've managed to turn a potential diplomatic disaster into an opportunity." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Thank you, Lyra. Though I have to admit, this wasn't quite how I imagined my first day on the job." As they left the council chambers, Maya couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. Who would have thought that a simple sunburn could spark a galactic incident? But as she prepared for the challenges ahead, she realized that this minor misunderstanding might just be the key to humanity's acceptance among the stars. Sometimes it seemed a little burn could light the way to a brighter future. Galactic uproar. The next morning, Maya awoke to find her quarters buzzing with activity. Her personal AI assistant, a holographic projection named ARIA, greeted her with an overwhelming list of messages, meeting requests, and news updates. "Good morning, Ambassador Chen," ARIA chirped. "I'm afraid your sunburn has become something of a galactic sensation overnight. The Confederation news networks are running non-stop coverage, and we've received inquiries from no less than 47 different species seeking more information about human physiology. Maya groaned, burying her face in her pillow. Wonderful. I don't suppose there's any chance they've all forgotten about it and moved on to more important matters. Aria's holographic form flickered with what might have been amusement. I'm afraid not, Ambassador. In fact, the Galactic Council has expanded today's session to include a panel of the Confederation's top xenobiologists. They're quite eager to examine the human specimen, as one rather enthusiastic Zorblaxian put it. Fantastic, Maya muttered, dragging herself out of bed. Nothing like being treated like a lab experiment to start the day. Any other surprises I should know about? Well, Arai hesitated. There is one development of note. Dr. Zixlorp, the Confederation's leading expert on radiation-based life forms, has requested a private meeting with you before the council session. Maya paused in the middle of pulling on her uniform jacket. Dr. Zixlorp, I've read some of their work. Brilliant scientist, but notoriously skeptical of primitive species. Any idea what they want? Aria's hologram shimmered uncertainly. The message was rather cryptic, Ambassador. Dr. Zixlorp merely stated that they have grave concerns about humanity's presence in the Confederation and wish to discuss them with you privately. Maya sighed, straightening her jacket. Well then, let's not keep the good doctor waiting. An hour later, Maya found herself in one of Starbase Harmony's smaller conference rooms, face to face with Dr. Zixlorp. The alien scientist was a striking figure, a tall, slender being with metallic scales and multiple sets of arms, each ending in delicate instrument-like appendages. Ambassador Chen. Dr. Zixlorp's voice was a melodious hum, tinged with an undercurrent of tension. I appreciate you meeting with me on such short notice. Maya nodded, keeping her expression neutral. Of course, Doctor. I understand you have concerns about humanity's involvement in the Confederation. I'm here to listen and, hopefully, address those concerns. Dr. Zixlorp's scales rippled, creating a mesmerizing pattern. Blunt honesty. How refreshing. Very well, Ambassador. My concern is this. Your species represents an unprecedented risk to the delicate balance of the Galactic Confederation. Maya raised an eyebrow. That's a rather bold statement, Doctor. May I ask what led you to this conclusion? Observation and analysis, Ambassador. Dr. Zixlorp replied, their multiple arms gesticulating in complex patterns. Your casual attitude towards radiation exposure is merely the tip of the proverbial iceberg. Humanity hails from a world that by all rights should have been uninhabitable. Your tolerances for environmental extremes, your rapid healing capabilities, your sheer adaptability, they are, quite frankly, alarming. Maya leaned forward, her curiosity piqued. Alarming? Or potentially valuable? Surely our unique traits could be assets to the Confederation, especially in exploring and colonizing worlds other species find challenging. Dr. Zixlorp's scales flashed a deep crimson. And therein lies the danger, Ambassador. Your species, unleashed upon the galaxy, could upset millennia of carefully maintained ecological and political balances. You could colonize worlds deemed too hostile for other races, exploit resources others cannot reach. The potential for conflict is enormous. Maya sat back, considering the alien scientist's words carefully. I understand your concerns, Doctor, but I would argue that diversity, even extreme diversity, is a strength, not a weakness. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate or disrupt, but to contribute and collaborate. Noble words, Dr. Zixlorp hummed skeptically. But can you guarantee that all of humanity shares this altruistic vision? What safeguards can you offer against the more aggressive elements of your species? Before Maya could respond, a chime signaled the imminent start of the council session. Dr. Zixlorp's scales rippled with a pattern Maya couldn't quite interpret. It seems our time is up, Ambassador. the alien scientist said, rising. "But rest assured, I intend to raise these concerns before the full council. The Confederation must be made aware of the potential dangers your species represents." As they made their way to the council chambers, Maya's mind raced. She had expected some resistance to humanity's inclusion in the Confederation, but Dr. Zixlort's vehement opposition was unexpected. She would need to tread carefully to address these concerns without appearing defensive or confrontational. The council chambers were even more crowded than the day before. News of the radiation-resistant humans had spread quickly, and it seemed every species in the Confederation had sent representatives to witness the proceedings. Maya took her place at the center of the chamber, acutely aware of the hundreds of alien eyes fixed upon her. The crystalline council leader called the session to order, its shell pulsing with authoritative colors. "Esteemed delegates, we reconvene to discuss the matter of humanity's unique physiological traits and their implications for the Galactic Confederation. Ambassador Chen, are you prepared to address the council's concerns?" Maya stepped forward, her voice steady. "I am, Counselor. But first, I believe Dr. Zixlor has some points they wish to raise." The alien scientist moved to the forefront, their scales shimmering with barely contained agitation. "Honored Council, I come before you today to sound a warning. The human species, while fascinating from a scientific perspective, represents a potential threat to the stability of our Confederation." A ripple of murmurs swept through the chamber as Dr. Zixlor continued, outlining their concerns about humanity's extreme adaptability and potential for rapid expansion. Maya listened carefully, noting the mix of reactions among the delegates, some nodding in agreement, others looking skeptical or confused. When Dr. Zixlor finished, the council leader turned to Maya. "Ambassador Chen, how do you respond to these serious allegations?" Maya took a deep breath, centering herself. This was the moment that could define humanity's place in the galactic community. She stepped forward, her gaze sweeping. Maya took a deep breath, centering herself. This was the moment that could define humanity's place in the galactic community. She stepped forward, her gaze sweeping across the assembled delegates. "Esteemed members of the council," she began, her voice clear and confident. "I thank Dr. Zixlor for their candid assessment of humanity's potential impact on the Confederation. It's true that we are, in many ways, unlike any species you've encountered before. Our homeworld, Earth, has shaped us into resilient, adaptable beings. But I ask you to consider this not as a threat, but as an opportunity." She paused, allowing her words to sink in before continuing. "Yes, we can withstand radiation levels that might harm other species. We can survive in environments others find hostile. But these traits weren't developed for conquest or domination. They were born of necessity, of a fierce drive to survive and thrive against the odds. And now we offer these abilities in service of the Confederation." A tentacled being from the aquatic section burbled a question through its translator. "But how can we trust that humans won't use these abilities to colonize worlds beyond their assigned territories, to upset the balance we've worked so hard to maintain?" Maya nodded, acknowledging the concern. "A fair question. But consider this, humanity has already proven its commitment to cooperation and peaceful coexistence. We could have hidden our abilities, presented ourselves as just another unremarkable species. Instead, we've been open about our unique traits, even when it causes alarm." She gestured ruefully to her sunburned skin. "We seek to be transparent partners, not conquerors in disguise." Dr. Zixlort's scales flashed skeptically. "Pretty words, Ambassador, but they do not address the fundamental issue. Your species' very existence pushes the boundaries of what we considered possible. How can we predict or control the impact of such an anomaly?" Maya turned to face the alien scientist directly. "With respect, Dr. Zixlor, I would argue that's precisely why humanity's inclusion in the Confederation is so vital. We challenge assumptions, we push boundaries, and in doing so, we open up new possibilities for all species." She turned back to address the entire council. "Imagine the advancements we could make together. Human resilience combined with Zorblaxian bioengineering. Our adaptive immune systems studied alongside Quilchian shape-shifting techniques. We don't seek to overshadow or outcompete other species, but to complement and collaborate. A murmur of interest rippled through the chamber. Maya pressed on, sensing a shift in the mood. Yes, our abilities might allow us to colonize worlds others find uninhabitable. But rather than seeing this as a threat, consider the possibilities. We could establish outposts on dangerous worlds, creating safe havens for scientific research. We could spearhead rescue and disaster relief efforts in hazardous environments. Our unique traits don't have to be a source of fear. They can be a resource for the entire Confederation. The crystalline council leader pulsed with thoughtful colors. You present an intriguing perspective, Ambassador Chen. But surely you must acknowledge the potential for misuse of such capabilities. What assurances can Earth provide that it will adhere to Confederation guidelines and treaties? Maya nodded solemnly. We understand the need for safeguards and oversight. Earth is prepared to accept regular inspections of our colonies and outposts. We're willing to integrate Confederation observers into our exploration teams, and we propose the creation of a joint committee to review and approve any human operations in high-risk environments. She paused, looking around the chamber. But more than any treaty or regulation, I believe our greatest assurance lies in our shared goals. Humanity doesn't seek to dominate the galaxy. We seek to understand it, to explore it, to connect with the incredible diversity of life it contains. We've dreamed of this moment for centuries. The chance to join a galactic community, to be part of something greater than ourselves. A holographic entity, its form constantly shifting, spoke up. Ambassador, your words are compelling. But words alone cannot allay all fears. How can you demonstrate, concretely, that humanity's unique abilities will be a boon rather than a burden to the Confederation? Maya smiled, sensing an opportunity. An excellent question. I propose a demonstration. A joint mission to a world currently deemed too hazardous for Confederation operations. Let a team of human explorers, accompanied by observers from various Confederation species, show you firsthand how we can expand the frontiers of what's possible. The chamber erupted in a flurry of excited discussion. Species conferring with their delegations, data streams being hastily analyzed, probability matrices recalculated. Dr. Zixlord's scales shimmered with a complex pattern of emotions, skepticism, curiosity, and perhaps a hint of grudging respect. The council leader raised its crystalline appendages, calling for order. Ambassador Chen, your proposal is unprecedented. But then, it seems humanity specializes in the unprecedented. We will need time to consider the implications and logistics of such a mission. Maya nodded, understanding the need for caution. Of course, Counselor. We respect the Confederation's processes and are prepared to provide any additional information or assurances required. As the session adjourned, Maya found herself surrounded by a whirlwind of alien diplomats, scientists, and curious observers. Questions flew at her from all directions about human biology, Earth's environment, the intricacies of sunscreen. She answered as best she could, marveling at how her minor sunburn had sparked a galactic revelation. Lyra materialized at her side, the alien skin shimmering with excited colors. Ambassador, that was remarkable. You've managed to turn a potential diplomatic disaster into a groundbreaking opportunity. Though I suspect you've just volunteered yourself for quite the adventure. Maya chuckled, the reality of what she proposed finally sinking in. Well, Lyra, I did say humanity was adaptable. I suppose I'll have to prove it firsthand. As they made their way out of the council chambers, Maya caught sight of Dr. Zixlord watching her intently. The alien scientist's expression was unreadable, but Maya sensed this was far from over. She had won a battle today, but the war for humanity's place in the galaxy was just beginning. And somewhere, on a distant beach on Earth, a sunbather rolled over, blissfully unaware that their weekend tan might just have altered the course of interstellar history. Human ingenuity unleashed. The days following Maya's bold proposal were a whirlwind of activity. Starbase Harmony buzzed with excitement and apprehension as news of the potential joint mission spread. Maya found herself at the center of a storm of questions, preparations, and diplomatic maneuvering. Ambassador, the Galactic Council has approved your proposed demonstration mission, Lyra announced one morning, her skin pulsing with a mix of excitement and concern. They've selected Novus Ignis as the target world. Maya's eyebrows shot up. Novus Ignis, the volcanic planet in the Cygnus system. That's ambitious. Lyra nodded, her antennae quivering. It's been deemed too unstable for colonization or resource extraction. Extreme temperatures, toxic atmosphere, constant tectonic activity. The Council believes it will provide an adequate test of humanity's capabilities, and perhaps an adequate test of our survival skills, Maya muttered. She squared her shoulders, pushing aside her own apprehension. Well then, let's show them what humans can do. What's our timeline? The mission launches in 3 standard cycles, Lyra replied. You'll be leading a team of 5 humans, along with observers from 7 different Confederation species. Maya nodded, her mind already racing with preparations. And Dr. Zixlorb. I assume they'll be involved. Lyra's skin shifted to a cautious blue. Indeed, the doctor has volunteered to lead the xenobiology research team. They seem very interested in studying human physiology under extreme conditions. I bet they are, Maya said wryly. Well, let's hope we can turn that scientific curiosity into something positive. We've got a lot of work to do. The next 3 days were a blur of activity. Maya coordinated with Earth to select her team. A geologist, a xenobiologist, an environmental systems engineer, a medical doctor, and a seasoned explorer with experience in extreme environments. Equipment was gathered, specially designed suits were fabricated, and countless briefings were held. Through it all, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that the fate of humanity's place in the galaxy rested on the success of this mission. The pressure was immense, but so was the potential reward. On the morning of the launch, Maya stood in the docking bay, watching as the last of the equipment was loaded onto their ship, a sleek Confederation vessel modified to withstand Novus Ignis's harsh conditions. Her team bustled around her, performing last-minute checks and adjustments. Nervous, Ambassador? A melodious voice hummed behind her. Maya turned to find Dr. Zixlorp approaching, the alien scales shimmering with barely contained excitement. Cautiously optimistic, Doctor, Maya replied with a smile. I hope this mission will demonstrate that humanity has much to offer the Confederation. Dr. Zixlorp's multiple arms gestured in a complex pattern. We shall see, Ambassador. I must admit, your species continues to fascinate me. Your willingness to venture into such hostile environments is remarkable. It's who we are, Doctor, Maya said simply. Explorers, adventurers, problem solvers. Give us a challenge, and we'll find a way to overcome it. Before Dr. Zixlorp could respond, a chime signaled the imminent departure. Maya addressed her assembled team and the alien observers. All right, everyone. This is it. What we do on Novus Ignis could shape the future of human Confederation relations for generations to come. Let's show them what we're capable of. As they boarded the ship, Maya caught sight of Lyra watching from the observation deck. The alien liaison's skin had taken on a swirling pattern of gold and silver, a display of hope and anxiety, Maya had learned. She gave a reassuring wave before stepping into the airlock. The journey to Novus Ignis was tense but uneventful. Maya used the time to further brief her team and get to know the alien observers. She was particularly intrigued by Zorn, a crystalline being from a high-gravity world who communicated through light pulses, and Eka, a gaseous entity contained within a sophisticated environmental suit. As they approached Novus Ignis, the ship's view screens filled with a hellish landscape. The planet's surface was a churning sea of lava, punctuated by towering volcanoes that belched toxic clouds into the atmosphere. Even from orbit, they could see the constant flicker of lightning storms and the slow crawl of tectonic plates reshaping the world below. "By the cosmic egg," Ekka's translator burbled, "you truly intend to set foot on that inferno." Maya nodded, her eyes fixed on the roiling world below. "That's the plan. Our suits should protect us from the worst of it, and we got some tricks up our sleeves for dealing with the environment." Dr. Zixlorp's scales rippled with skepticism. "And what tricks might those be, Ambassador? I see no equipment that could possibly withstand such extreme conditions for long." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "You'll see soon enough, Doctor. Human ingenuity can be quite surprising." As the ship entered Novus Ignis's turbulent atmosphere, alarms blared warnings about the extreme conditions outside. The alien observers huddled anxiously in the command center, watching as Maya and her team made final preparations in the airlock. Maya's geologist, Dr. Samira Patel, grinned as she adjusted her helmet. "Just another day at the beach, Ambassador? Though I think I'll skip the sunbathing this time." Maya chuckled, appreciating the attempt to lighten the mood. "Probably for the best, Samira. I don't think even SPF 1000 would cut it here." With a final systems check, the airlock cycled open, and Maya led her team out onto the hellish surface of Novus Ignis. The heat was immediate and oppressive, even through their advanced suits. The ground beneath their feet trembled constantly, and the air was filled with the roar of distant eruptions and the hiss of venting gases. "Incredible," Dr. Patel breathed, her scientific excitement overriding any fear. "The geological activity here is off the charts. The data we could gather." Maya nodded, understanding the potential. "All right, team. Let's show them what we can do. Dr. Patel, start your geological survey. Dr. Chen, begin atmospheric analysis. Rodriguez, scout for a suitable location to set up our base camp." As the human team spread out, Maya could hear the excited and nervous chatter of the alien observers over the comlink. Dr. Zixlort's voice cut through the noise. "Fascinating, truly fascinating. But Ambassador, surely you don't intend to remain on the surface for long. The radiation levels alone are far beyond safe limits for most known species." Maya allowed herself a small smile behind her helmet's faceplate. "That's where those tricks I mentioned come in, Doctor. Rodriguez, how are we looking for the HRE deployment?" The environmental systems engineer gave a thumbs up. "Perfect spot about 100 meters north, Ambassador. Nice stable plateau with minimal gas venting." "Excellent," Maya replied. "Let's move, everyone. Time to show the good doctor and our Confederation friends what humans can really do." As they reached the plateau, Rodriguez began unpacking a series of small, innocuous-looking devices. The alien observers watched in confusion as the humans arranged them in a precise pattern. "What are those?" Zorn pulsed curiously. "HREs, human resilience emulators," Maya explained. "A bit of technology we've been developing back on Earth. They create a field that temporarily alters the local environment to be more Earth-like. Watch." With a nod from Maya, Rodriguez activated the devices. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then suddenly, a shimmering dome of energy expanded outward, encompassing the plateau. Inside the dome, the oppressive heat immediately began to dissipate. The constant tremors stilled, and the toxic atmosphere was rapidly filtered and replaced with breathable air. "Impossible," Dr. Zixlorp breathed, their scales flashing in astonishment. Maya grinned, reaching up to remove her helmet. She took a deep breath of the newly created Earth-like atmosphere. "Not impossible, Doctor, just highly improbable. Welcome to a little slice of Earth on Novus Ignis." The alien observers stared in stunned silence as the human team began setting up their base camp within the protective dome. Maya could almost see the implications racing through their minds. The potential for this technology to open up countless worlds previously deemed uninhabitable. As she helped unpack equipment, Maya caught Dr. Zixlorp's eye. The alien scientist's expression was a complex mix of emotions: shock, admiration, and perhaps a touch of apprehension. "Well, Doctor," Maya said with a smile, "still think humanity is a threat to the Confederation? Or are you beginning to see the possibilities?" Dr. Zixlort's scales shimmered thoughtfully. "I'm beginning to see, Ambassador, that humanity may be far more remarkable and far more valuable than I initially believed. Though I suspect you've just opened up an entirely new set of questions and concerns for the Galactic Council to ponder." Maya nodded, her expression turning serious. "No doubt. But that's the thing about us humans, Doctor. We don't just survive challenges. We thrive on them, and we're ready to face whatever new questions the galaxy might throw our way." As the rest of the team continued setting up the base camp, Maya gazed out at the hellish landscape beyond the dome's protective barrier. Somehow, she had a feeling that this was just the beginning of humanity's grand adventure in the cosmic community, and all because of a little sunburn that sparked a galactic panic. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor after all. The Nexus Crisis. As the days on Novus Ignis stretched into weeks, the initial shock of the Human Resilience Emulators, HREs, wore off, replaced by a growing sense of excitement and possibility among both the human team and the alien observers. Maya's team had established a functioning research outpost within the protective dome, gathering invaluable data on the planet's extreme geology and atmospheric conditions. Dr. Zixlorb, initially skeptical, had become an almost constant presence at Maya's side, peppering her with questions about human physiology, Earth's environment, and the intricacies of the HRE technology. The alien scientist's scales now frequently shimmered with patterns that Maya had come to recognize as intense curiosity and grudging admiration. "I must admit, Ambassador," Dr. Zixlorp hummed one evening as they reviewed the day's findings, "your species continues to surprise me. The adaptability you've demonstrated here, it's unprecedented in my centuries of xenobiological research." Maya smiled, feeling a sense of pride in her team's accomplishments. "Thank you, Doctor. I hope this mission has helped alleviate some of your concerns about humanity's place in the Confederation." Before Dr. Zixlor could respond, an alarm blared through the base. Red warning lights flashed as the ground beneath them began to tremble more violently than usual. "Status report," Maya called out, rushing to the command center with Dr. Zixlorp close behind. Dr. Patel's voice crackled over the comm system, tinged with urgency. "Ambassador, we're detecting a massive surge in tectonic activity. It looks like we're about to witness a supervolcano eruption, possibly large enough to reshape the entire planet's surface." Maya's mind raced, assessing the situation. "What's our risk level? Can the HREs handle this?" Rodriguez, the environmental systems engineer, shook his head grimly. "The HREs are already at maximum capacity just maintaining our current safe zone. This eruption could overload the entire system." The alien observers huddled nervously, their various appendages and sensory organs twitching with fear. Eka, the gaseous entity, swirled agitatedly within its containment suit. "We must evacuate immediately. This planet is tearing itself apart." Maya held up a hand, calling for calm. "Let's not panic. Our ship is on the other side of the planet right now, scheduled to return in 48 hours. We need to find a way to weather this storm." Dr. Zixlorp's scales flashed with alarm. "Ambassador, surely you don't intend to remain. The risk is too great." Maya met the alien scientist's gaze steadily. "Doctor, this is precisely the kind of situation humanity has evolved to handle. We don't run from challenges. We face them head-on and find solutions." She turned to her team. "All right, people, this is what we trained for. Dr. Patel, I need constant updates on the volcanic activity. Rodriguez, see if you can boost the HRA's output. Dr. Chen, work with Eka to analyze the atmospheric changes. We need to know what we're dealing with if the dome fails." As her team sprang into action, Maya noticed the alien observers watching with a mix of fear and fascination. She addressed them directly. "I know this situation seems dire, but I assure you, we faced worse. This is an opportunity to show you firsthand how humanity deals with crisis situations. Over the next few hours, the situation grew increasingly tense. The ground shook constantly, and through the shimmering dome, they could see rivers of lava creeping ever closer to their position. The air outside grew thick with ash and toxic gases. "Ambassador," Rodriguez called out, his voice strained. "The HREs are at 120% capacity. I don't know how much longer they can hold." Maya nodded grimly. "Understood." "Dr. Patel, what's the status of the eruption?" "Not good," the geologist replied. "We're looking at a VEI 8 eruption, possibly even a 9. This could trigger a global extinction event." The alien observers gasped in horror. Zorn, the crystalline being, pulsed with rapid, distressed light patterns. "We're doomed. No species can survive such cataclysmic conditions." Maya's eyes narrowed, a plan forming in her mind. No single species, perhaps, but together. She turned to Dr. Zixlorp. "Doctor, you've been studying our HRE technology. Do you think it could be adapted to work with other species' environmental control systems?" Dr. Zixlorp's scales shimmered thoughtfully. "In theory, yes, but the power requirements would be enormous, and the integration of such disparate technologies would be incredibly complex," Maya finished. "But not impossible, especially not if we work together." She addressed the entire group. "Listen up, everyone. We're about to attempt something unprecedented. We're going to combine our technologies and create a shield large enough to protect not just us, but a significant portion of this planet's surface." The next few hours were a blur of feverish activity. Human ingenuity combined with alien expertise as they worked to integrate the HRDs with the observers' various environmental systems. Ekka's gaseous nature proved invaluable in fine-tuning atmospheric controls. Zorn's crystalline structure helped amplify and focus the shield's energy output. Even Dr. Zixlorp found themselves swept up in the collaborative frenzy, their multiple arms a flurry of motion as they helped calibrate the xenobiological interfaces. As the volcano reached its explosive crescendo, Maya stood at the control panel, her hand hovering over the activation switch. She looked around at the diverse group of beings surrounding her, human and alien alike, all working together in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. "Ready?" she asked. A chorus of affirmatives rang out, some verbal, some gestured, some pulsed, or vibrated or expressed in ways Maya couldn't even fully comprehend. But the meaning was clear. They were united, ready to face this challenge together. Maya took a deep breath and activated the integrated shield system. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with a surge of energy that made the air crackle, a massive dome of shimmering energy exploded outward from their position. It expanded rapidly, covering kilometers of Novus Ignis's surface in seconds. Through the translucent shield, they watched in awe as the supervolcano erupted with cataclysmic force. Rivers of lava flowed harmlessly over the energy barrier. Toxic gases were neutralized on contact. Even the intense shockwaves were dampened to manageable levels within their protected zone. Hours passed as the planet raged around them. The combined shield held firm, a testament to what could be achieved when diverse species worked together. As the eruption finally began to subside, a stunned silence fell over the group. It was Dr. Zixlorp who finally broke the quiet, their scales shimmering with a complex pattern Maya had never seen before. "Ambassador Chen," the alien scientist said softly, "I believe I owe you and your species an apology. What you've accomplished here today, it's nothing short of miraculous." Maya smiled, feeling the deep sense of pride not just in humanity, but in the unprecedented cooperation they'd just witnessed. "Not miraculous, Doctor. Just human. And not just human." This was a victory for all of us, for the very idea of the Galactic Confederation. As the group gathered to assess the aftermath of their incredible feat, Maya couldn't help but marvel at the journey that had brought them here. From a simple sunburn to saving a planet from destruction, It was almost too incredible to believe. Yet as she looked around at the diverse beings surrounding her, each contributing their unique abilities and perspectives, Maya realized that this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven its worth not by conquering or dominating, but by bringing out the best in their galactic neighbors. The Nexus Crisis, as it would come to be known, marked a turning point in Confederation history, and it all started with a little too much sun on a distant beach. Maya chuckled to herself, wondering what other adventures awaited humanity among the stars. A new understanding. The return journey to Starbase Harmony was filled with a palpable sense of excitement and camaraderie. The shared experience of facing and overcoming the cataclysmic event on Novus Ignis had forged an unexpected bond between the human team and their alien observers. Even Dr. Zixlor, once so skeptical of humanity's place in the Confederation, now engaged Maya in animated discussions about the potential applications of their combined technologies. As their ship docked at the starbase, Maya was surprised to see a large welcoming committee awaiting them. Representatives from dozens of species crowded the arrival bay, their diverse forms creating a living tapestry of galactic diversity. Lyra rushed forward, her iridescent skin pulsing with vibrant colors of excitement and relief. Ambassador Chen, we've been monitoring the situation on Novus Ignis. The entire Confederation is buzzing with news of your accomplishment. The Galactic Council has called an emergency session to discuss the implications of your mission. Maya nodded, feeling a mix of pride and trepidation. Well then, I suppose we shouldn't keep them waiting. As they made their way to the council chambers, Maya couldn't help but notice the changed atmosphere on the starbase. Where once there had been wary glances and whispered concerns about the dangerous Deathworlders, now there were looks of awe and respect. Several aliens even approached to express their gratitude and admiration for humanity's actions on Novus Ignis. The council chambers were packed to capacity when they arrived. Maya took her place at the center, flanked by her team and the alien observers who had shared in their incredible journey. The crystalline council leaders' form pulsed with a spectrum of colors as it called the session to order. Ambassador Chen, the council leader's resonant voice filled the chamber. We have convened this special session to address the unprecedented events that transpired during your mission to Novus Ignis. Your actions there have challenged many of our preconceptions about humanity and its place in the galactic community. Maya straightened, ready to defend her species if necessary. But to her surprise, the council leader continued in a tone of admiration. The ingenuity, adaptability, and cooperative spirit demonstrated by you and your team have opened our eyes to new possibilities. What was initially seen as a potential threat, humanity's unique traits and capabilities, has proven to be an invaluable asset to the Confederation. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the assembled delegates. Dr. Zixlor stepped forward, their scales shimmering with an emotion Maya now recognized as respect. If I may, esteemed council, the alien scientist began, I wish to formally retract my earlier concerns about humanity's inclusion in the Confederation. What I witnessed on Novus Ignis was not just physical resilience, but a remarkable ability to innovate, collaborate, and rise to seemingly impossible challenges. The human resilience emulators alone represent a technological leap that could revolutionize our approach to colonizing harsh environments. The council leader's crystalline form pulsed thoughtfully. Indeed, Ambassador Chen, in light of these developments, the Council proposes the establishment of a new division within the Confederation, the Human-Led Extreme Environment Exploration and Development Team, or HEEED. This team would spearhead our efforts to study and potentially colonize worlds previously deemed too hostile for habitation. Maya felt a surge of pride and excitement. This was more than she could have hoped for when she first arrived at Starbase Harmony, with nothing more than a sunburn and a dream of galactic cooperation. We would be honored to lead such an initiative, Maya replied. But I would propose one modification. Instead of a solely human-led team, I believe HEEED should be a truly collaborative effort, drawing on the unique strengths and perspectives of all Confederation species. She gestured to her diverse team and the alien observers who had shared in their Novus Ignis adventure. What we accomplished on that volcanic world wasn't just a human achievement. It was the result of combining our various technologies, expertise, and ways of thinking. That, I believe, is the true strength of the Galactic Confederation. The council chamber erupted in enthusiastic agreement. Species that had once viewed each other with suspicion or indifference were now eagerly discussing potential collaborations and joint research projects. As the session concluded, with plans laid for the formation of HFY and a new era of interspecies cooperation, Maya found herself approached by a familiar face. Lyra's skin shimmered with a warm golden hue as she offered a gesture of respect. "Ambassador Chen," Lyra said, her voice filled with admiration, "when you first arrived here with that Sunburn, I never imagined it would lead to all this. You've not only secured humanity's place in the Confederation, but have inspired a new age of unity and exploration." Maya smiled, thinking back to that fateful day when a simple beach vacation had inadvertently set these events in motion. Sometimes, Lyra, the greatest adventures start from the most unexpected beginnings. I'm just glad we were able to turn a potential disaster into an opportunity for growth. As they looked out over the bustling starbase, now alive with a new sense of purpose and unity, Maya couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through conquest or intimidation, but by embodying the very qualities that had allowed them to thrive on their challenging homeworld: resilience, adaptability, and an unwavering spirit of exploration. The galaxy, it seemed, would never be the same, and it all started with a Sunburn. In the years that followed, the story of the Sunburn diplomat became something of a legend in Confederation space. It served as a reminder that great changes often come from unexpected places, and that the key to thriving in a vast and varied galaxy was not to fear differences, but to embrace and learn from them. As for Maya Chen, she continued to lead humanity's efforts in the Confederation, always with a smile and a bottle of sunscreen close at hand. After all, you never knew when a little too much sun might just change the course of galactic history.